Hello guys, and welcome back to another one with us, the Review Bros, and today we're going to be reviewing HISTORICLABS' non-Stim pre-workout AMUN-RA and covering the usuals: taste, price, label, effects. Will it be your next non-Stim pre-workout purchase? We've already covered these guys: high Stim, daily driver and thermogenic pre-workout, so this is the last one of the bunch. We're hoping this fares just as well as the others, so stick around and we'll cover it all. And if you are new here and you do happen to find our videos useful, please do hit the like button, hit the sub button, tick the bell icons. We try and put out 2 or 3 reviews a week, but today, let's get into this one. Okay guys, you know the drill by now. It's the first segment of any review. Taste and mixability is what we'll be assessing. And we've got the pleasure of trying Peach Rings flavour. So, it's all gone in. Let's see how it's looking firstly. I will say, there are some little bits settled at the bottom, but on first glance, it does actually appear to be a bit better than your typical non-Stim pre-workout. And it's not a slouch where the serving amount's concerned either. So, I think they've done well. Let's give it a taste. Very, very nice. There's no complaints. It does genuinely taste like a nice peach ring flavour. There's no nastiness coming through it. You know, granted, non-Stims are generally easier to flavour compared to stimulant pre-workouts because they're less chemically, less stimulant induced. They're more natural overall, generally speaking. But anyway, it's a good one. I'd be happy to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Taste as it says on the tin, no negatives. On to price. So if you want to pick up this pre-workout based on today's review, you'll be heading over to the official website HISTORICLABS.com, where you can use our discount code RB15. That will knock the price down this 25 serving tub to a very nice £34.46 or £1.38 per the serving. Now on our consistent price scale, where a 5 out of 10 is a bang average price point of pre-workouts on the market today, this comes in at a nice 6.5 out of 10. So it's actually priced cheaper than your typical pre-workout price point. And it's nicely done when we do actually look at the label and most importantly the real world effects, which we'll be getting into right now. So let's get into this label. What exactly are we getting in this pre-workout for that price point? And I will just say that the company is promising performance, endurance, energy, focus and pump down the side of the tub there. Interesting, you might say, that they are promising energy given the fact it's a non-Stim, but as we go through the labels we'll come to understand what angle they're coming at that claim from. So anyway, let's get into it. We've got ourselves a 15.5 gram serving amount, which I will admit for non-Stims is probably on the lighter side. You know, we are seeing heavy duty 25, 30, 35 gram serving amount non-Stim pre-workouts. However, the size of the serving amount isn't everything. You have to look at the ingredients, the quality, everything else. So yeah, it's worth bearing in mind. First and foremost, we've got L-citrulline 2:1 at a nice dose of 6 grams. It's respectable. We're getting 4 grams of pure L-citrulline, which is definitely enough to get the ball rolling when it concerns increasing your nitric oxide production, blood flow, pump, nutrient delivery. Obviously going to have a knock-on effect to help with your endurance and athletic performance in the gym. And we've got it here, so we like to see that. Then we've got Beta Pure, which is a trademarked pure, obviously, version of betaine anhydrous, 2.5 grams, nice, the dose we look for. Jack of all trades ingredient, and that's going to help with your pumps, power, hydration, overall performance in the gym. Then we've got Hydroprime, a registered, again, another premium ingredient of glycerol powder, standardized to 65% at 2 grams, which is, as pre-workouts go, in a powder form, is okay. You know, it's an okay dose. I wouldn't say it's a great dose, but it's definitely okay. You know, you're meant to take glycerol at crazy dosages of like 20 plus grams, but it's just not viable in a powdered form pre-workout, so you normally have to buy them as a standalone entity. However, you are limited when it's in a powder, so 2 grams, respectable. You know, we have seen 3, 4, 5 grams stuffed in a pre-workout before, but yeah, it just depends how much the company wants to take the risk where the clumping's concerned. Speaking of which, this one is not clumping. I've had it open for a good few months now, so that's a thumbs up. So it's obviously a good quality version of the ingredient, and they've obviously done well with regards to their mitigation tactics to fight the clumping. But anyway, side tangents aside, what's it going to do? It's a hyperhydration agent, so it's going to help to pull in water into the muscle cell, filling you out, giving you, again, obviously more hydration, which is going to lead to improved performance and endurance in the gym. and that nasty Michelin Man style pump is what we're hoping to see. So then we move down to another registered ingredient, another fancy pants premium expensive one, nitrosogene, which is inositol stabilised arginine silicate at 1500 milligrams, a lovely dose there. That's going to work alongside the L-citrulline to bump up nitric oxide production, leading to even more blood flow, pumps and nutrient delivery, and that also kind of explains why they may have gone for a more moderate dose with the L-citrulline. However, nitrosogene is fantastic. It's been shown to extend your pumps for an even longer period of time after your gym session's ended. So if you want to walk about looking tanked up and swole after you finish your training for hours on end, look no further. That's what we hope. Then we've got lion's mane mushroom at 600 milligrams, a really nice dose. That's going to help with your mental fatigue, and that is going to help you to stay focused and train harder for longer. And then we move down to yet another fancy pants registered ingredient, Genius Pure, which is basically a premium version of Alpha GPC, 350 milligrams. It's a 90% yield, which is fantastic. You normally only see 50%. I've not seen any other company doing this apart from these guys. But yeah, you're going to get a really solid amount from that. It's going to increase your acetylcholine levels within the brain, which is going to increase your concentration, focus, and ultimately your athletic performance in the gym. And then we've got Synactive at 100 milligrams, a really nice dose. That is going to help with your recovery and your overall endurance and athletic performance in the gym, to put it simply. Then we wrap off with estrogen at 50 milligrams, another nice dose. That's an absorption agent, so it's basically just going to help get all these ingredients through you as quickly and efficiently as possible prior to your gym session. Because if your body's not absorbing them, it's no good, is it? So that's why they're attacking that angle, and we love to see it. And where their energy claim is concerned, the only thing I can assume that they're sort of referencing with that claim is potentially the lion's mane with regards to mental energy, you know, anti-fatigue, and perhaps things like Synactive for similar reasons. So they're not actual stimulants, so it's not giving you energies from a stimulant standpoint, it's giving you energy from more like a mental fatigue standpoint and just gearing your body up as a whole for the gym session. So it's a different kind of energy. But anyway, let's get into the real world effects, because that's why we're here and that's why you'll ultimately even buy the pre-workout. Right guys, we are there. We're into the effects section of AMUN-RA HISTORICLABS' non-stim pre-workout, and I've used it a good few times at this point, so I'm very much aware of the effects. So let's just get straight into it. Obviously it doesn't have beta-alanine in it, which some non-stims do, a lot don't. Obviously this one doesn't, so it's going to be a positive or a negative depending on whether you like the ingredient or not. And for those of you that don't know, it's that one that causes the sort of itchy tingly sensation. Some people still do like it in their non-stims because it gives a sense of something kicking in. Even though it's not an actual stimulant, it gives that sensation it's, you know, time to get cracking. You don't have that here. As I say, it's down to you whether that's good or not. For me, I personally don't mind. You know, I like to have offerings that do and don't have beta-alanine. I wouldn't want to see every non-stim with it. So yeah, absolutely fine that they don't have it in this one. I didn't necessarily miss it. So again, it's a non-stim pre-workout, so you don't feel anything kick in from a stimulant standpoint. You know, that whole thing, just write it off. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the things that have claimed on the side. Performance, endurance, energy, take that with a grain of salt, like I already sort of touched on in the effects section, focus and pump. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the star of the show, which is obviously the pumps. You know, that's why you would generally buy a pre-workout like this, generally. The pumps were bloody fantastic. You know, I'm just going to come straight out and say it. They're addressing it from multiple pathways. You know, you've got your NO boosters, you've got your ingredients that extend the life of the pump, you've got your hyperhydration type ingredients. They're coming at it from several different angles, and they all do come together to produce a good result ultimately. And it's very consistent. I've got a nice juicy vascular swelling pump every time I've used this pre-workout. You know, I've had no negatives where that's concerned either. The digestion front has all been okay. It's not caused me any problems, which you'd be surprised. There are a lot of non-stims out there that can do that, depending on the ingredients and dosages and things. But they've hit the nail on the head here. It comes through really nicely in reality. You get that nice juicy vascular pump. As I say, you also get that swelling Michelin Man water style pump. Now what comes with that is a nice sense of endurance as well, because you're enjoying your training, you're enjoying your sets and reps, you know, you're really dialed in. And that kind of leads me nicely into the next point about this pre-workout I want to touch on, and that's the focus / mood elevation, because they do tie in. The focus was good. Obviously it's never going to be as good as if you're taking stimulants alongside it. That's just reality. But you can still get reasonably good focus in non-stims. And I think this is around about as good as you're going to get without stimulants / illicit ingredients and crazy nootropics that are potentially illegal. So yeah, all above board here. The focus, mood elevation element was definitely noticeable. Not crazy, do not get me wrong. You're not dialed in and staring through walls and things like that. But you feel on top of, you feel on top of things. You're enjoying your training, you're locked in. And that's, ultimately, that's really as focused as you need to be, isn't it? You don't need to be drilled in AF. You just need to be locked in enough to get your gym session done. And it gave me that much. So yeah, the pumps were fantastic. The focus was pretty good for what it is as well, not far behind. And the endurance and performance and energy side of things are a bit more tricky to pinpoint because they're not as prevalent as the pumps or even the focus, but they were still there again, like I said, because you're getting so pumped, you're so dialed in, you've got that mind to muscle connection, you are naturally going to have a better amount of endurance because you're locked in, right? And what comes with that as well is obviously going to be better performance because your body as a machine is functioning more optimally. Your blood's flowing where it needs to go, the nutrients are going where they need to go, everything's firing, your mind is switched on with the nootropics. So everything is as good as it's going to get, as I say, without stimulants. And that is reflecting in your endurance and your performance in the gym, quite obviously. Now, the energy claim, I didn't necessarily feel any more energized than if I hadn't taken a pre-workout. But then again, I am looking at it through the lens of, well, there's no stimulants in it, so of course I'm not going to feel energized. But I still can understand why these guys have put that claim on there because it's a different type of energy, like I've already mentioned. It's more of a muscular, internalized energy, like your actual ability to get through the sets type energy, rather than I'm pinging off the walls, I can't sit still type of energy. It's different. A lot of people probably won't even class that energy claim as realistic from that sense. But I can see where they're coming from. So yeah, guys, I think that is everything. It does tick all of the claims that they're claiming, and it does do it very well. And for that price point, holy crap, it's absolutely worth it. A 6.5 out of 10 on the price scale for a pre-workout that's this stacked with premium ingredients, no negatives, ticks all the boxes that you want in a non-stim, generally speaking. I think they've done amazing to get it into that price bracket. And goes without saying, obviously, I can definitely recommend it. I would not say avoid it. I wouldn't necessarily say rush out and buy it either. I don't think it's like changing the world as we know it or anything crazy like that. So I would say shortlist it. Shortlist it if you're in the market for a non-stim pre-workout, i.e. a pre-workout that's got everything listed here, all the benefits that I said, minus in the stimulant element and beta-alanine element. So if you're in the market for that type of pre-workout at an affordable price, a decent price, then you're not really going to have to look much further, and therefore I do say shortlist it. That is everything, guys. I don't have any critiques on the label. I think that they've done a great job with what they've put in it, and the dosages are all good. The ingredient selection's good. The price point is good. It tastes good. I genuinely can't say, I haven't got a bone to pick with these people on this one. I think it's great. So yeah, with the risk of waffling on a bit too long, I will end it there. Let me know what you think down below. Have you used it? Do you want to use it? What are your favourite non-stims? Is there anything else you want to see us review on the channel? You know the usuals. Let us know. And as always, stay pumped, and you will.